Hello and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we're doing the 17th recipe from Plum Pudding Murder. They are the chocolate raspberry truffles. Now I was kind of excited about this recipe until I actually looked at it. It's essentially putting half a cup of chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of seedless raspberry jam in a double boiler, melting them together, letting them cool, and then rolling them into balls and coating them in cocoa powder. That's it. It doesn't seem like it's, well, one, it doesn't look like it's going to make a lot. It says it makes 18 small because they're super rich, but if I get 18, I will be surprised. If they're really all that good, I will also be super surprised. But as you can guess, other than the melting, there's no real cooking or baking. I will read you the recipe because there are a couple of notes on it. It says, Hannah's note. Amy told Lisa that this recipe is so easy, she almost hates to call it a recipe, but everyone just adores these truffles. Lisa told me she's going to try it with white chocolate and raspberry, or maybe white chocolate and peach, or white chocolate and some other jam or jelly. Since it's white chocolate, she'll roll her truffles in powdered sugar rather than cocoa. And then, of course, it says 6 ounces, 1 cup semi-sweet, 2 tablespoons of 1/8 cup seedless raspberry jam, cocoa powder to coat truffles. And then it says to melt them, yada, 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 cool it, roll it, cocoa powder. It does say to store them in a tightly covered container in the refrigerator. Pull them out like half an hour before you want to eat them. Yield 18 sinfully delicious truffles, depending on the size you roll them. And then it also has another note. Lisa and I tried refrigerating the truffles without rolling them in cocoa. We melted some chocolate, pierced the cold truffles with a food pick, dipped them quickly in melted chocolate, and then placed them on wax paper to harden. They were fantastic. Lisa also suggested a couple of alternatives, including rolling the truffles in shredded coconut or finely chopped nuts. So with that, let's get started. Are the 3 ingredients that we are going to need today. And this I just kind of dumped out. I didn't measure it because it didn't give a measurement. Okay, so into the top part of the double boiler, we have the chips and the jam. Now that this is boiling, we're going to add the top. It says to melt these together. You're looking for, I guess, a fudgy-like consistency and stirring it occasionally. I don't think it should take too long. I don't have too high hopes for this. I really don't. We've had a lot of really good truffle recipes in this book. But, I mean, if it turns out okay, it would be a simple recipe because who doesn't usually have chocolate chips and some kind of jam on hand? So if it works, that's awesome. But I personally don't have that high of a hope for it. It seems almost too simple. Although I will say the melted chocolate and the raspberry always smells so good together. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm looking for, so we're going to call that, I guess, done. So I pulled it like this. This looks fudgy to me. It does say to let it cool down and then to roll it into balls. I'm going to use a teaspoon just because a half a teaspoon seems too small. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes since I took it off the heat. Yeah. Scoop it up. Roll it. I feel this is going to be messy. And then we have ball. It's definitely still warm on the bottom of the pan, so maybe give it close to 10 minutes before you start rolling them. I might have to re-roll some of these. But I feel like they'll cool faster if they're not in a metal pan. We ended up with 22. I did roll them twice just because it seems like the chocolate was like melting away. So these are more like mini truffles. They do smell good though, so. I'm not the biggest fan of the cocoa powder on the coating. It's just, I'm not a dark chocolate person, and it's literally what it tastes like is dark chocolate. But once you get into the inside, it's fudgy. I'm sure once they hit the fridge for a while, they'll have more of a structure. But the chocolate, the milk, the semi-sweet's nice. The jam, it carries a nice flavor after you finish eating it. Like, it's so nice just sitting on the tongue, that raspberry and chocolate flavor. So overall, I think these took me about 40 minutes at the most. At the most, that's like measuring the ingredients, melting the chocolate, waiting 5 minutes for it to cool, rolling them out. And even then, that was more me being more trying to be precise to get exactly 22. Like with tablespoon each, I ended up with like 22. So that's, you can totally just hand roll, eyeball these. I also think that rolling them all and then putting them in whatever coating you're using, honestly, I don't see why you couldn't put powdered sugar on these instead of the cocoa powder. I know in the notes it was saying put the powdered sugar with the white chocolate, but I could totally see this with the powdered sugar just fine. But with that being said, next week we are making Dixie Lee's German apple cake, which I think will be awesome for like the last week of October. This is like the perfect prime apple season. So I'm excited about that. If you want to see how it goes, join us next week. I hope you'll have a good one. Bye.